Here's something that will change how you think about trading forever. Researchers once wired up 10 professional traders with sensors on their hands, face, and arms, the same kind used in a lie detector test, and watched their bodies in real time while real money moved. What they found is that even the calmest, most experienced traders had measurable spikes of fear and stress the instant the market jumped. The difference between the pros and everyone else wasn't that they felt nothing. It's that they had a system for what to do next. If you've ever closed a winning trade way too early because you were scared to lose the profit, or held onto a losing trade way too long because you just knew it would come back, congratulations, you're completely normal. That's not a character flaw. That's human biology doing exactly what it evolved to do. The problem is, the wiring that kept your ancestors alive on the savannah is terrible at making calm decisions when your money is on the line. Here's the good news. The traders who consistently protect their capital aren't superhuman. They've just built habits and rules that take the decision out of the heat of the moment. And those habits are completely learnable. So in the next few minutes, you're going to learn 3 things. First, the core reason your brain sabotages you the second real money is at stake, and the science behind it. Second, a realistic, step-by-step example of how emotional discipline actually plays out on a normal trading day using a made-up trader we'll call Marcus. And third, the 3 most common emotional mistakes beginners make, and the exact system top traders use to avoid every one of them. Let's get into it. Let's start with the thing almost nobody tells beginners. You are not fighting the market. You're fighting your own body. Back in 2002, 2 researchers named Andrew Lowe and Dmitry Ripin ran a now famous study. They took 10 professional securities traders at a major financial firm and attached sensors to measure things like skin sweat, heart rate, and blood pressure, while these people traded live with real money in real time. The results were clear. During sudden market events, a fast price spike, a break in the trend, the traders' bodies reacted. Their skin conductance jumped. Their cardiovascular readings shifted. In plain English, their bodies went into a mild fight or flight state, the same physical response you'd get if a dog started chasing you. Now, here's the part that matters most. Even the most experienced traders in the group showed these reactions. Emotion wasn't something the pros had eliminated. But the study also found that the more experienced traders tended to react less intensely than the beginners. Experience didn't remove the feeling. It turned the volume down and, more importantly, it stopped the feeling from hijacking the decision. So why does this happen? When you feel threatened, your brain floods your system with stress chemicals. Blood flow shifts away from the slow, logical, planning part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, and toward the fast, reactive, survival part. That's fantastic if you need to jump out of the way of a car. It is a disaster if you need to calmly decide whether to hold a trade that just dropped 3%. Under stress, your thinking brain literally gets less resourced, and your reacting brain takes the wheel. There's even a hormonal angle to this. In 2008, researchers John Coates and Joe Herbert studied 17 real traders on a London trading floor over 8 days. They measured hormones in the traders' saliva. They found that on days when a trader's morning testosterone was higher, that trader tended to make more profit, because higher testosterone nudged them toward more risk-taking, and on those particular days the risk paid off. But they also found that the stress hormone cortisol rose when the market got more volatile and results got more unpredictable. Think about what that means. When markets get wild, exactly when you most need a clear head, your body is pumping out the chemical that makes you anxious and prone to overreacting. So let's define the core concept simply. Emotional discipline in trading is not the ability to feel nothing. It's the ability to make the same rational decision, whether you're up money or down money, by deciding your rules before the emotion arrives and then following them. That last part is the whole game, before the emotion arrives. Because once your heart is pounding and your account is bleeding, you have already lost the argument with your own biology. The pros win by making their most important decisions when they're calm, writing those decisions down, and then just executing. The trade plan is the boss. The in-the-moment feeling is not. Let's make this real. Meet Marcus. He's a beginner trader with a $25,000 account. He's smart, he's read a few books, and he's about to have the single most important day of his trading education, not because of the money he makes, but because of what he doesn't do. Before the market opens, calm and coffee in hand, Marcus makes 3 decisions on paper. Decision 1. He will risk no more than 1% of his account on any single trade. 1% of $25,000 is $250. That is the absolute most he will let himself lose on any one idea. Not because 250 is a magic number, but because it's small enough that no single trade can hurt him. Decision 2. Every trade gets a stop loss, a preset exit price, where he gets out automatically if he's wrong, set the moment he enters. Not later. Not, I'll watch it, the instant he's in. Decision 3. If he loses 3 trades in a row, he shuts the laptop for the day. No exceptions. Now the market opens. Marcus takes his first trade. It goes against him and hits his stop. He's down $250. His body doesn't love this, remember. That fight or flight response is real and automatic. But the decision was already made this morning, so there's nothing to decide. He's out, clean. Second trade, same thing. Stop hit, down another $250. Now Marcus is down $500 on the day, and this is where beginners fall apart. His brain is screaming at him to win it back. His cortisol is up. That reacting part of his brain is grabbing for the wheel. Here's the beautiful part. Because Marcus is only risking 1% per trade, 2 losses in a row have cost him just 2% of his account. 2%. He's barely scratched. Let me show you why that number is everything. If Marcus had instead been risking 10% per trade, which feels exciting to a beginner, and he hit a cold streak of 10 straight losses, his account would drop by about 65%. 65% gone. But at 1% per trade, 10 straight losses would only take him down about 10%. Same bad luck, completely different outcome. The 1% rule isn't about being timid. It's about making sure a run of losses can't trigger a panic that blows up your entire account. Marcus takes his third trade. It also loses. 3 in a row. And now Marcus does the hardest thing in all of trading. He follows rule number 3. He closes the laptop. He's down about $750, 3% of his account, on a bad day. He walks away. The next morning he comes back, calm, and the market gives him 2 clean winners. Because he never dug himself into a hole he couldn't climb out of, he's back to nearly flat within a day. Now compare that to what a lot of beginners actually do. After that third loss, panic takes over. They think, I need to make it all back right now. So they double their risk to win faster. Then they double it again. If Marcus had doubled down after each loss, 250, then 500, then 1,000, then 2,000, then 4,000, and that streak continued, he'd have risked $7,750. That's 31% of his account, nearly a third of everything, gone in a single afternoon, all because of a feeling. Same trader, same market, same bad luck. The only variable that changed the outcome was whether the decisions were made in advance by a calm brain or in the moment by a scared one. Now let's name the 3 emotional traps directly so you can spot them coming. Every one of these has a fix that top traders use. Mistake number 1. Selling winners too fast and holding losers too long. This one is so common it has a name, the disposition effect. In a landmark 1998 study, researcher Terence O'Dean analyzed the trading records of 10,000 real brokerage accounts. He found that investors were roughly 50% more likely to sell a winning position than a losing one. Read that again. People rush to lock in small gains because winning feels good and they're scared it'll disappear. and they cling to losers because selling would mean admitting they were wrong. The kicker. Odeon estimated this single habit cost those investors around 3.5 percentage points per year in returns. The fix. Decide your exit, both your stop loss and your profit target, before you enter. Let the plan close the trade, not the feeling. Mistake number 2. Revenge trading. This is the one that destroyed the hypothetical version of Marcus we just talked about. You take a loss, it stings, and instead of accepting it, you immediately jump into another trade to get it back, usually bigger, usually with no plan. This is your cortisol-flooded survival brain making decisions your calm brain would never approve. The fix is a hard rule, decided in advance, a maximum number of losses per day, and a mandatory cooling-off period after a bad trade. Marcus used to 3 losses and I'm done. Even just stepping away for 10 minutes after a loss lets that stress chemical spike come back down before you touch the keyboard again. Mistake number 3. Judging yourself by outcomes instead of process. Beginners think a winning trade means they did everything right and a losing trade means they messed up. But that's backwards. You can follow your rules perfectly and still lose, because trading deals in probabilities, not certainties. Here's a number that proves it. Imagine a solid trading system that wins only 40% of the time, but wins twice as much as it loses on each win. That's actually a profitable system over time. But with a 40% win rate, you'd have a losing streak of 5 trades in a row almost 8% of the time. That's roughly 1 bad streak in every 12 or 13 runs. Perfectly normal. If you judge yourself by the streak instead of the system, you'll abandon a winning strategy at the worst possible moment. The fix. Grade yourself on whether you followed your plan, not on whether the trade won. Keep a simple journal. 1 column. Did I follow my rules, yes or no? That's the only score that matters day to day. 3 mistakes, 3 fixes. And notice what they all have in common. Every fix is a decision made before the emotion shows up. That's the entire secret, repeated 3 different ways. Quick pause. If any of this is landing, if you've caught yourself in even one of these traps, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more beginners who are quietly making the exact same mistakes and don't know why. And if you want to actually get good at this stuff, the psychology, the risk management, the fundamentals, subscribe and turn on notifications because we release breakdowns like this one every single week. The next few videos in this series go deep on the exact rules we mentioned today, including a full walkthrough of the 1% risk rule. So if you remember one thing from this entire video, make it this. The top traders don't have superhuman emotions, they have superhuman preparation. They decide their rules when they're calm, they write them down, and when the fear or greed shows up, and it always shows up, they just follow the plan they already made. That's it. That's the whole difference. The emotion is not the enemy. Acting on the emotion without a plan is. This is just one piece of the puzzle. Here on this channel, we're building a complete, beginner-friendly library, risk management, long-term investing, how compound interest quietly builds wealth, how to avoid the scams that target new investors, and a lot more. Every video is another step toward understanding money well enough that it stops controlling you, and you start controlling it. Reaching financial freedom isn't about one lucky trade. It's about stacking good habits, one video at a time. So stick around. The next one is already waiting for you. Quick note. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any financial decisions. And that's a wrap on today's topic. If you found this helpful, be sure to hit like and subscribe so you never miss a lesson. Have a question about what we've covered today? Drop it in the comments below. I'll be answering the best ones. If you want to dive even deeper, click on this next video somewhere on the screen, where we explore next topic. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.